So the question number 1 says, what is the sum of the measure of the 3 angles of an isosceles triangle? What we know, as everybody knows, the measures of a triangle in general is 180 degrees, so it's no different for an isosceles triangle. So the sum of the measures of the 3 angles of an isosceles triangle is 180 degrees. So question number 2 has 2 parts to it, it has A and B. Question asks, write the algebraic phrase that corresponds to the following word phrases. So for part A, it asks, the sum of 5 times the opposite of a number and -3. So we know we're going to do a couple of different things here. For one, we're going to multiply, the others we're going to add. So this problem can be written actually a couple different ways. I'm going to write it for you at least one way. So the sum of 5 times the opposite of a number. So we know the opposite of a number, we have to give it a variable. So that variable in this case we're going to give is x. Since we know it's got to be the opposite of x, we're going to make it a minus. So the opposite of any number is a minus. Now, second part of the question says sum of 5 times the opposite of a number and -3. So we're going to make it a sum and then the opposite and -3. So the answer is -5x plus a -3. Okay, and 2b says the product of 7 and the sum of 4 times a number and 3. So with the product, we know the product is 7, so we're going to start out with a 7. And then what it's also asking for is a sum of 4 times a number and 3. So we know we're going to have a parentheses here. So we're going to open up with a parentheses, and then we're going to have the sum of 4 times a number and 3. So once again, we're looking for a number. So we're going to make us a variable. We're going to call it x this time. And then 4 times that variable, 4 times x, sum of 4 times a number and 3. So the sum is plus and 3. So our final answer is 7 parentheses 4x plus 3. Question number 3 asks, what fraction of 50 is 15? So in this problem, we're looking for a smaller number. We're looking for some type of small fraction. So we're looking for what fraction of 50 is 15. So how we're going to write that is 15 over 50. Now, we know that everything in fraction we want to try to reduce down. So in this case, we're going to try to reduce down 15 and 50. We know that 5 can go into both of them, so we reduce this down. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 5 goes into 50 10 times. Our final answer is 3 over 10. So question number 4 asks, point 25 of what number is 50? So basically a quarter of some number is 50. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact opposite of what we did on question 3. We're going to put 50 over 0.25. So basically we're going to divide 50 and 0.25. So basically just do this the easiest way. We're going to go 0.25 and 50. Move our decimal over 2 places. Add our zeros. Leaves us now 25 into 5,000. 25 we know goes into 50 2 times. Gives us zeros left. We just fill in the remaining zeros. So our final answer is 200. So question number 5 asks, use 3-unit multipliers to convert 141 inches to kilometers. Now I know we haven't done too much of this in class. We've done a lot of 2-unit multipliers. We're going to take this an extra step and go 3-unit multiplier. So we're trying to take 141 inches to kilometers. So 141 inches to kilometers is what we're trying to get to. So we're going to start off obviously with 141. 141. Now we got to go from inches. In order to get from inches to kilometers, we've got to get the inches at least into centimeters first. So we know that there's 2.54 centimeters, or 2.54 centimeters in an inch. So we're going to multiply this times 2.54. Now, we got it into centimeters. We're going to take it one more step. We're going to turn it from centimeters into meters. In order to that, we're going to have to divide. So we know that there's 100 centimeters in a meter. So we're going to divide by 100. Now that we've gotten that far, we're going to take it one more step and go from meters to kilometers. And we know that there's 1,000 kilometers in a meter, so we're going to multiply one more time, 1,000. So our final answer is going to be 141 times 2.54 divided by 100 times 1,000. Question number 6 asks, the perimeter of a square is 44 centimeters. Find the area of the square. So what you see is we have our square here. Our perimeter is going to be 44 centimeters, and we're looking for the area. And we know that the area is length times width. So what we're going to do in order to find out what our sides are, what our length and our width are, we're going to take 44 and divide it by 4. When we divide 44 by 4, you can see that we get 11. So now that we have that, all sides of the square are 11 centimeters. So we're just going to simply multiply 11 times 11, and the area of the square is 121 centimeters squared. Question number 7 says, find a number such that 18 less than twice the number is 44. So a couple things we're going to have to look for is we're going to have to look for some key words. We know is equal. So we're going to start here and put an equal. It's 44, so we're going to start with 44. So we got part of our equation already. The other part of this says find a number such that 18 less, so we know we're going to have a subtraction here, and 18 less than that, so there we are. Find a number such that 18 less than twice the number. Okay, so we're looking for a variable again, so twice that number, we'll call it x, and twice it is 2x minus 18 equals 44. So now what we're going to do is we got to solve for x to find that number. So we know that we got to do first is we're going to add 18 to both sides. When we add 18 to both sides, it cancels out the minus 18. When we get here, 2 carry our 1 gives us 62. 2x equals 62. Now that we have that, we just need simply divide both sides by 2 and gives us x equals 31. Okay, question 8 says simplify, and there are 3 different parts. There's an A, a B, and a C. So we'll start off with A, 4 to the negative 2 power. And what we know about it, anytime we have a negative power, is we're basically just going to flip it. So since we know that 4 basically is 4 over 1, we're going to flip that, and we're going to make it 1 over 4 squared. Now we're not finished yet. What we need to do from here is we actually need to square the 4. So our final answer is 1 over 16. Okay, and the second part, B, gives us 1 over 4 to the negative second power. So we're going to do the exact opposite of what we did in A. So we're going to take this and we're going to flip it, and it's going to give us 4 to the second power, and 4 to the second power is 16. And 8C is 4 to the 0 power. Now don't get this confused with division, that anytime you divide something by 0, you get 0. Anytime we have a 0 as an exponent, we know our final answer is simply 1. Question number 9 is, if f of x equals negative 4x minus 3, find f of negative 2. So as you see, we have negative 4x minus 3, find f of negative 2. And all we're simply going to do here is simply substitute negative 2 in for where x is. So we're going to get negative 4 times the negative 2 minus 3. Negative 4 times the negative 2 is going to give us a positive 8 minus 3. And 8 minus 3 is 5. So our final answer of f of negative 2 is 5. So question number 10 is 0.03 plus 0.025x equals 1.28. And as we saw in the last test, we can do something to make this a lot simpler. That way we're not dealing with the decimals. What we're going to do is we're going to try to get these into whole numbers and not have to deal with all the decimals. So we're going to move this decimal over 1, 2, 3 places to give us 25 x. Now we got to move this one over 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 30 plus 25x equals, move this one over 3 places, 1,280. Now that we're there, we simply subtract 30 from both sides, cancels that out, subtract 30 from this side, and we're going to get 1,250 equals 25x. So now that we're here, we're simply going to divide both sides by 25. And when we divide both sides by 25, 25 goes into 125 5 times with the 0 left over. So our final answer is x equals 50.